Justice delayed is justice denied. We have heard this line so many times in our life. But what happens when the wrong people are convicted, spend more than 18 years rotting in jail, only for court to then acquit them? What category of injustice does this fall under? This question has been on my mind ever since every single person accused of bombing Mumbai's trains in 2006 was acquitted this week. 19 years after one of the worst terror attacks in India's financial capital, the whole case has fallen flat. A series of loopholes in the investigation have been questioned by the Bombay High Court. The victims, grieving families, locals, the whole country is back to zero. What made the court overturn the entire judgment? Who carried out the terror attack? And where do we go from here? Let's start right at the beginning. On July 11, 2006, thousands of civilians were aboard Mumbai's lifeline, the commuter trains, or the locals as they're called. In the evening, when everyone was returning after a long day of work, a mundane Tuesday took a devastating turn. A series of 7 bomb blasts rocked the first-class compartments of 7 different suburban local trains of Mumbai, all within minutes in succession. The bombs were placed in the local trains from the Churchgate station. And then, somewhere between 6:34 p.m. IST and 6:39 p.m. Indian time, they exploded near the stations of Matunga Road, Mahim Junction, Bandra, Khar Road, Jogeshwari, Bhayandar and Borivali. The serial blasts killed over 189 people and injured more than 820 others. These bombs were placed in pressure cookers to cascade their impact. Now, investigations began quickly. Maharashtra's anti-terrorism squad presented 13 accused for trial at a special court under the Maharashtra Control of Organized Crime Act. The trial went on for 8 long years. 250 witnesses, of which 92 were prosecution witnesses, took the stand during the course of the trial. 169 volumes of evidence was produced during this time. In 2015, the trial court convicted 12 people in the case. The special bench sentenced 5 of them to death after being found guilty of planting the bombs. The remaining 7, also found guilty by the special court, were handed a life imprisonment sentence. Shortly after, 2 things happened simultaneously. The Maharashtra government approached the Bombay High Court with pleas seeking confirmation of the death penalty for the 5 convicts. At the same time, the convicts filed appeals challenging the special court's order. Finally, in July 2024, the High Court constituted a special bench for the matter. After 75 hearings from the defense and the Maharashtra government, all convicts walked free, having spent their prime years behind bars, away from families and loved ones. Well, not all could walk free. One of the accused, who was on death row, died in prison during the COVID-19 pandemic. So why is it that despite a long trial of 8 years, it took the Bombay High Court just months to poke holes in the investigation conducted by the Maharashtra ATS? Now, it has been observed that the special court relied heavily on the prosecution's evidence. The trial for this attack fell under the rarest of the rare categories. The special bench heavily relied on confessional statements of the accused and supporting evidence produced by the prosecution. It dismissed the mitigating circumstances that were pleaded by the accused. Much of it has now been rejected by the Bombay High Court. Let's break down the key grounds behind the acquittal. Number 1, non-trustworthy eyewitness accounts. High Court bench said that the prosecution failed to establish the trustworthiness of the witnesses who identified the accused, from taxi drivers who were quiet for 100 days after the blasts, to witnesses who changed their statements during cross-examination. Number 2, evidence about the explosives itself. The Maharashtra ATS had presented recoveries of explosives, including RDX granules, detonators, pressure cookers, circuit boards, hooks, maps, etc., as crucial evidence in the case. But the judges observed that the prosecution failed to establish and prove the proper custody and proper sealing of this evidence. The court even dismissed the circuit boards that the prosecution said it recovered from 2 of the accused, since the prosecution failed to establish the type of bombs used in the present case. Number 3, court said that the confessions of the accused were non-truthful. The bench said that the confessional statements are inadmissible on several grounds of approval and corresponding timelines. But the most pertinent observation the court made is this: the medical evidence of doctors of KEM Hospital and Bhabha Hospital, which said that there was sufficient indication that the accused had been tortured to extort a confession. The accused had repeatedly made this plea over years. The 2-judge bench also made another statement in the long 671-page judgment that it gave on July 21st. It said, and I am quoting here, "Punishing the actual perpetrator of a crime is a concrete and essential step towards curbing criminal activities, upholding the rule of law and ensuring the safety and security of citizens. But creating a false appearance of having solved a case by presenting that the accused have been brought to justice gives a misleading sense of resolution." The High Court's verdict has shocked many. Maharashtra government says it will contest the decision in Supreme Court, but the Bombay High Court observations have put the Maharashtra Anti-Terrorism Squad under scanner from what can only be now called a botched-up investigation. The big question staring in the faces of many, including the victims, is this: if all convicted were innocent, were they made a scapegoat in the case? Who actually carried out the attack? Who made the bombs? Who transported and planted them inside the trains? And how could justice veer off its course to such a large extent?